This is Jacob from Wager Me This. I want to go through a few prop bets tonight. Basically, that's what I'm doing here. As you can see, my count up there says 490. That's because there's a lot of bets. A lot. Already this week. Tons. I mean, probably 50. I don't know. Just guessing. It's a lot, though. I'll show them in a minute. Or at least I'll zip through them really quick. Alright, so now I can see you guys chat. If anyone decides to join me. So I want to go here. We're going to go to the NFL. Got the NFL games up here. Click NFL. This is if you have DraftKings. If you have a different platform or if you make live bets, most of these bets are still going to be there. You just might have to look for them. And that's one of the big tricky things at the casino in the kiosks is looking for those bets. It's actually very difficult sometimes to find them because they'll be hidden in weird spots. But you can always go up to the desk and ask. All right, so what I want to talk about here is just some prop bets, right? And kind of the way I go about looking at prop bets and thinking about prop bets. Okay, so when I'm going through these games, right? Broncos and the Jaguars. What would I be looking for? Okay, so first thing first, the thing that jumps out, right, is the Jacksonville quarterback to throw an interception. I mean, that's just the thing that jumps out right away. He threw 3 last week. So let's look at the props. Trevor Lawrence, go down here to interceptions. Trevor Lawrence over 0.5 is minus 175. Okay, guys, so when you're looking at interception props, and it's a guy that is probably going to throw an interception or that throws a lot of interceptions, you're not going to get a good line on it, right? But that's fine. It's okay. It's okay if you don't get a good line on it because it's going to win. And so a lot of times when you don't get a good line, guys, them are winners. So that's a good prop. I like that prop. All right, I have that prop bet. All right. What else would you look in this game? Okay, so touchdown scores. So let's go to touchdown scores. This is always a good one to look at, right? So there is no negative players in this game. So there's no negative odds. The worst odds you can get is plus 115 with Melvin Gordon, which is probably a pretty good bet. All right, he's their number 1 running back. He's probably going to get, but he broke for a long one last week. All right, so remember, there's no Jerry Jeudy in this game, so that means that, hello, Enslow. That means that guys like Courtland Sutton, Noah Fant, Hamler, they're going to get more looks, right? They're going to get more touchdown looks. Hamler dropped a for sure touchdown last week. Okay, so let's look where Hamler's at. Hamler's plus 240 to score a touchdown anytime. And that's a pretty good line. Especially because he's going to definitely be the number 2 receiver now, probably. And if he's not the number 2, he's definitely going to get all of the gadgety type stuff, the gadgety type plays. So you got all that. So that's a pretty good bet, is to take Hamler. Another one I really like is Noah Fant. Noah Fant at 175. All right, guys. So this is the way I look at these props, okay? So Marvin Jones Jr.'s the James Robinson. These guys are Jacksonville's best receivers, right? But they're going to have a long day because the Denver Broncos have a good defense. They have a good secondary. So I wouldn't be looking too much to them to score. If you are, I would be looking more. I would try to get better value if you're going to look to the Jacksonville guys. There's Noah Fant. He is Denver's tight end. All right. If you're going to look toward the Jacksonville players, I would look toward either this Laviska Shenault or DJ Chark. And the reason is because you're getting a lot better payout on them. And it's a toss-up which one of those guys is going to score, if any of them score, right? But then you got the Denver Broncos defense sitting there at plus 330, all right? guys, they're going to have some interceptions. They're going to have some chances to score, all right? So last week, I told you guys to bet the 49ers defense to score. They did, all right? So when you're picking defenses and you're trying to pick ones that you think will score, two things have to be for sure, right? The first thing that has to be for sure is that the quarterback that they're going against is not a good quarterback. The second thing is that defense has to be a turnover defense, all right? So there's defenses that are good against yardage, that are good against, keeping scoring down, but then there's also defenses that are good at getting turnovers, right? They don't always necessarily match. So that's another thing you need to look at. Is the defense good at creating turnovers? Because that's the only way they can score. All right, so let's move on. So we kind of looked at that game. So let's go to a game that should be chock full of props, all right? It should be full. And that is the Cowboys and the Chargers. All right, the Cowboys and the Chargers. And this is because this should be a shootout, all right? This should be a shootout. These are pretty equally matched teams. And so when you're going to look at TD scores, we're going to have some that aren't great. All right, Ezekiel is minus 135. Keenan Allen for the Chargers is minus 115. Austin Eckler is minus 110. Why are these minuses? Well, they're minuses because these guys are probably going to score in this game because there's going to be a lot of scores in this game. All right, so that's the thing, is there's a high volume of scores in this game. So you have a much better chance at hitting one of these scores, right? So who's my favorite one on here? Obviously, it's CeeDee Lamb. It's going to be CeeDee Lamb again because I know that Prescott looks for him in touchdown-making situations. I know he does. We proved it last week again. All right, so I like that. I really like that. And another one I like is this Jalen Guyton. All right, Jalen Guyton at plus 240 for the Chargers. All right, so this Jalen Guyton is he's their Deshaun Jackson, right? He just runs down the numbers and catches deep balls, right? So he gets 3 or 4 thrown his way a game, and that's what this guy does. All right? So since this is such a high-scoring game, I think we're going to see a lot of 5 wides and different things like that. So you're going to get a lot of this Jalen Guyton on the field. Well, the Cowboys are going to have to play against Williams and Keenan Allen with their best players. So this Jalen Guyton, he's going to have a lot of free range, right? He's going to have a lot of room to run. So I like that Jalen Guyton for a touchdown. So guys, that's a good game. Any one of those guys, if you bet them, if you decide to bet any of those guys on their touchdown props, or maybe you bet 3 of them, they're all good bets because there's going to be a lot of scores in that game. All right, here's another one. The Tennessee Titans and the Seattle Seahawks. All right, we're going to go to TD scores. All right, Chris Carson, we're not even going to look at him. Minus 150, it's not worth it. All right, Derrick Henry minus 140. You don't get paid per touchdown. So if you got paid per touchdown, then yeah. But right here, Mr. A.J. Brown at plus 125. All right, A.J. Brown. It's either 8 out of 9 games or 9 out of 10 games that he's caught a touchdown in a row. All right. Let me look at this really quick. It's not popping right up. Okay, so he has 22 touchdowns in his career. All right. He has only played 31 games. This guy is a touchdown machine. All right. Touchdown monster. This dude is he's just a touchdown machine. And so this is one of my favorite plays, is A.J. Brown to catch a touchdown, right? When they get toward the red zone, if they're not running it with Henry, okay, I'll go to that one. But if they're not running the ball with Henry, then they're going to throw touchdowns to A.J. Brown. And this is what they do at Tennessee. This is how they play football. It's like 8 out of the last 9 games. It's a ridiculous number. Or 9 out of the last 10 games, something like that. All right, so let's go to the Gronk. The Gronker. So we need Tampa. There we go. We got Tampa. Touchdown scorers. All right, so here's the thing with Gronk. Okay, so this is something I've learned over time with Gronkowski. He seems to be every other week, all right? And this is so weird, right? Because he caught 2 touchdowns last week. He caught little tiny touchdowns is what he does, all right? That's how he does it. Gets a lot of yards to the game and then catches little tiny touchdowns out down on the goal line, all right? But Rob Gronkowski at plus 140, all right? At 140, see, last week we got him at plus 200, so it was a much better play. At 140, with his history, I mean, it's not a bad play. I'm not going to say it's a bad play, but I'm not making that play this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bet both of these guys, Mike Evans and Antonio Brown. 2 reasons, 2 totally separate reasons. Reason 1, Mike Evans had a terrible game week 1, absolutely terrible game. I think he had 4 catches or something, no touchdowns. So I'm thinking that in this game he's going to see the ball a little more. Now, with that said, he was banged up. He did get hurt in that game. But Antonio Brown seems to have taken kind of the number 1 role there in Tampa Bay, and I think Tom Brady wants him to be the number 1. All right, so let's talk about this, right? Antonio Brown was the best receiver in the NFL before he did all of his craziness, right? Before he did all of his craziness, it was really no doubt he was the number 1 receiver in the NFL. Well, he's been back a whole year now, so he's probably going to be right close to that again, right? So he's going to be in the top couple receivers in the NFL again. And he's got Tom Brady throwing him the football, and Tom Brady wants to throw him deep balls. He wants to throw him down the seam. He wants to. And another thing, what Antonio Brown got is Antonio Brown can catch a 5-yarder and make it a 55-yard touchdown. So, which is a little different than Evans. Evans kind of has to be the red zone threat, just the one-on-one type player. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play both of those games, both of those plays, Evans and Antonio Brown, expecting to hit at least one. So if you bet, for example, in this situation, if you would bet $100 on each one, all right, you're going to win $125 no matter what, as long as one of them scores, right? So even if you lost the other one, you'd still be up $25, all right? If both of them score, great. Obviously, if neither of them score, terrible. But so that's the way I play that, all right? So if I have 2 guys on one team that I like, I usually try to match up their money. That way, I only have to hit one to make money. I don't have to hit both. I like Calvin Ridley to score at 140. Calvin Ridley to score at 140 is a bargain. All right, Calvin Ridley is the best player on the Falcons. All right, Matt Ryan, they had a bad week, really bad week, bad game against the Eagles. It's probably not going to get a lot better against Tampa Bay. But I do think Tampa Bay is susceptible to quarterbacks that will throw it down the field. All right, so I look at Calvin Ridley to score in this game as well. Now, guys, in this video, I'm not telling you to take these plays. If I say take this play, that's different than what I'm doing here. What I'm doing is I'm giving you an idea of the kind of props that I like to play and the kind of props that I think you should be looking for. All right, so let's switch gears, all right? Let's look at quarterback rushing props, okay? So the first one that jumps out is Lamar Jackson, right? So you always go look at Lamar Jackson first. This is the first step in quarterback rushing props. Guys, I do this every week. This is every week for Jacob, all right? We are going to, it's not giving me, they're not up yet. Oh, they're there. They're there. You got to go to running back and wide receivers for whatever reason. Lamar Jackson rushing yards over 67.5. All right, so I'm going to pull up really quick. Lamar Jackson's stats versus the Chiefs. All right. I like StatMuse. I don't know if you guys have ever used StatMuse. You should try StatMuse. StatMuse. All right. In Lamar Jackson's games against the Chiefs, okay, rushing yards. He has Why is it not showing me what I'm looking for? Hold on. 1 second. StatMuse is failing me right now. Let me go back. All right, what am I trying to do here? There we go. Pro Football Reference. Hold on. He averages like 70 something yards against the Chiefs. So, Lamar Jackson has an average of 65.3 yards per game versus the Chiefs in his career. Sorry, I was wrong. I thought it was a little higher than that. All right? But this right here is 67.5. All right? His running backs are hurt. So you take all this. Yeah, absolutely. So you take all of this into account, right? Lamar Jackson, they're going to be behind most of the game, right? That doesn't mean that the Ravens throw. That means that Lamar Jackson gets wilder. Is usually when his team gets behind, Lamar Jackson tends to get crazier. He tends to run more. He tends to do, a little bit wilder things, right? Then he ends up breaking out the backside for 60-yarders and 40-yarders and 20-yarders and this and that. So I always look at Lamar Jackson's rushing yards first as quarterbacks go. Patrick Mahomes is a tricky one, all right? So in this game, I don't think the Ravens have the defense to defend his receivers. So I'm going to not look at his rushing prop. I only ever look at Mahomes' rushing prop when there's a defense on the other side of the football that I think can defend him. Right? In this case, I don't. I don't think that's a thing. All right, so we're going to jump up here. We're going to look at Russell Wilson's. All right, this is another one. So I look at these. Okay, so these are all guys that actually run the football, right? So Russell Wilson is over 24.5. All right, I like that. I'm just fine with that. But what I like more is Ryan Tannehill over 14.5. And the reason is because Ryan Tannehill does run the football a little bit. He does run out of the side. So think about this. If Ryan Tannehill needs to pick up 3 first downs in this game that are 5 yards apiece, you'll cover that. You'll cover that right there. And so that's one of the ones I would look at is Ryan Tannehill. All right? Here, I'm going to keep going up here. Arizona Cardinals. This is another guy that runs the football a lot. All right? No, it's not going to be under QB props. All right. Kyler Murray. This is the best one I've seen so far. Kyler Murray over 36.5 yards, guys. Over 36.5 rushing yards for Kyler Murray. How many people think that Kyler Murray is going to run for more than 36 yards this week? I do. You're getting it at minus 110. Kyler Murray over 36 rushing yards. All right, let's look at another one. Mr. Jalen Hurts. All right, these are great props because you get, just like with the Daniel Jones one, it was 22.5, right? that's an easy win usually, right? All right, Jalen Hurts over 51.5. I'm not as thrilled about this one. We don't have as much history with Jalen Hurts, all right? Against a better defense in San Francisco than Atlanta's defense. I'm not as thrilled about over 51.5 for him. I can easily see him get in the 40s, right? And you miss that. So that's one I would steer away from. All right, Steelers, Raiders, no. Texans and Browns. Okay, so here's one. We're going to look toward Tyrod Taylor on the Houston. All right, let's go to running back receiver props. Tyrod Taylor's over 24.5. I actually like this one. This is very Daniel Jonesy to me. All right, and why is it? Because he's going to be running for his life against that D-line. So he's going to be running all the time, all day against the Browns from Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. He's going to be running away all the time. So, and it's not like they got world beaters out there catching the football in Houston. So I like this over 24.5 prop. I love it. I think it's a very good play. I think he can easily get it in one run, and he probably will. Very similar to the Daniel Jones play. All right, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins. These are two supposedly mobile quarterbacks. I think it's only one that's actually mobile. All right, Josh Allen over 31.5. That is too high for him. All right, so I have a rule with Josh Allen, okay? Josh Allen's have to be under 30 yards. And the reason being is because Josh Allen wants to throw. He runs when he has to, all right? He doesn't have design plays for him to run as much anymore. So I don't like it when it's over 30. All right. Tua is at 13.5. I love this one here, actually, because I feel like, again, that the Bills' defensive line is going to get after him. All right. And he only has 13. He only has to get to 14 yards. That's easily 2 scrambles, run to the sideline out of bounds, 2 7-yard scrambles. So, guys, when you're looking at these props, think about it just depends on Anslow, on how comfortable I am with it. I base it off that. I base it off how comfortable I am with the prop itself. All right. So I like Tua, don't like Allen in that case. All right. The Rams and the Colts, I'm not even going to look at either of them because those guys don't run the football. All right, the Patriots and the Jets. Let's look at this one. This is a good one. We're probably going to get the Jets QB over 14.5. This is a good one. All right, Zach Wilson. He only has to run 2, and he's going to be running for his life, guys. Against the Patriots defense, those corners and stuff, that secondary, is going to lock up his receivers. So he's going to have a lot of chances running the football. All right. So think about that. Only 14.5. All right. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. So you got a whole 60-minute game to get 14.5 rushing yards from a guy that touches the ball every play. So, I mean, they're very good bets to be making. All right. I didn't even look at Mac Jones. As far as I can tell, he just doesn't run the football. He's never been that guy, so, they're not even offering one on him. So he doesn't run the football. So those are a couple of the prop bets and the way I go about looking at them, right? The way I go about looking at prop bets. All right, so the other thing I look at is first half, second half, quarters, them kind of things, okay? So in games so there's 2 different kinds of games here, right? We have this week, we have games that are probably going to be crazy high scoring, and then we have games that are probably going to be kind of slow, right? The Jaguars, Broncos, New England Jets are probably going to be kind of slow games. The Colts and the Rams is probably going to be a faster paced game than you think. Buffalo Bills, Miami, I don't really know. It could go either way. The Browns and Houston is going to be a fast paced game, all right? The Browns are going to score a lot in that game, and they're going to do it fast. Raiders, Steelers, could go either way. Saints-Panthers, this is probably going to be a better football game than you think, but the Saints are a far better football team. All right? 49ers-Eagles, this is going to be a fast-paced game. All right? Both of these teams showed that they can move a little bit. They can move the ball some. So we're going to go 49ers-Eagles. We're going to look at its halves. All right? We can go to here and look at the halves. Here, keep going over halves. Click halves. All right, so 49ers are -1 for the first half. That's pretty good, right? -1 for the first half on the 49ers. I like that. All right. The first half total is over 23. So that means you have to get to 24. So that means you need 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, but I wouldn't be that interested in it. Either way, over or under. But the 49ers -1, I like that a lot. So in the first half, what that's saying is in the first half, the 49ers have to be up by 1 point or more for you to win that bet. I like that a lot. All right, so let's look at, okay, so Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Let's see what the half is on this one. I bet it's 6.5. 7, okay, it's right at 7. So they're expecting Tampa Bay to be up by 7 at the half. All right? Look at the over for the half. Look at it. That's 4 touchdowns. All right? That's 4 touchdowns. Or 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals to get to that over. That's actually quite a bit in a half of football. All right? So, I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. But it's because Atlanta's defense is not good. All right, let's look at this Chargers and Cowboys. I bet you this half over is going to be 28.5. Let's see what it is. 27.5. I was close. So they went the other route. Okay, so that means that's 4 touchdowns to get that over. So if you don't think there's going to be 4 touchdowns scored in the first half of the Chargers in Dallas, get on this under right here if you don't think so. All right? It's not a lot of value to bet the over because you have to have a pretty specific thing happen. If anything goes wrong, some penalties could ruin it. I mean, just a couple field goals instead of touchdowns could ruin that. So, but what I do like is this Dallas plus 2.5 at plus 100. So that's even money. And you get 2 points, 2.5 points with Dallas for the first half. I like that a lot. All right, that's a pretty good play. All right, so let's look at another one. Okay, Chiefs, Baltimore. Let's look at their half bet. It's going to be something similar. It's going to be 27.5, 28.5, something like that, 26.5. All right, so it says the Chiefs are 3 points better. Okay, so let's look at this really quick. We say at the half they're saying the Chiefs are 3 points better, but for the whole game they're only 3.5 better. So think about that. You don't want to bet the half. If you're going to bet the half, you might as well just bet the whole game at -3.5. See, so pay attention to some of those things. If you're not getting a good number on these prop bets, don't mess with them. All right? Prop bets, you should always get a good number. Always. Every time. You should always have a good number because it's just the way they are. It's just the way they work, right? Prop bets are not... They usually have low limits. You can't go crazy with them. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be betting half. I would just go, if you like either side, I would just go take the game. Because you're essentially giving up the same or taking the same at that point. All right, the over 26.5, I can see it being over that in the first half. I can also see it being under that, but I would lean the over on that one for sure. But again, guys, I'm not necessarily playing these bets. I'm just giving you an idea. We're talking about props. So I'm giving you an idea of how and why I do things, all right? How and why. All right, so I want to go look at something really quick. We're going to go to the Broncos and Jaguars game. We're going to go over here to DST props. All right, so we're going to look at sacks. All right, this is where you find your kicking props, right? Your field goalers. All right. So you can get McManus for over 1.5 field goals. So guys, a great prop is to bet kickers to kick 2 field goals. Right? So most of the time it's -1, it's over or under 1.5. Right? Most games kickers kick more than 1 field goal. Most of the time they kick at least 2. Right? The few exceptions are the teams that are really good that score touchdowns, right? And so that's the few exceptions. The teams that are mediocre or in the middle, they end up kicking a lot of field goals, right? So those are really good props, so keep those in mind. All right, so solo tackles, tackles, assists. It's not showing me the sackers. I wonder why. Let's look at solo tackles. All right. So this Miles Jack right here, Miles Jack over 5.5. This is a great play. This is a really good play, all right? Over 5.5 at +100, right? Why is this a good play? Because Miles Jack is their best linebacker, right? He's their middle linebacker. And Denver is going to have the ball a lot in this game. And so when they run the football, he's probably going to be the one tackling him. So that's a really good play. Miles Jack over 5.5. He'll probably have that in the first half. So why am I not finding the sackers? Let's see what we got in player parlays. I don't usually mess with those because they're too. When you get those special odds and different things, usually the bets are just not good. So if you guys are, so I'm going to show you another thing. If you think the game's going to be a blowout, right? If you think that one team is 10 or 20 points better than another team, right? So like right here, you can take the Broncos -10 and get 155. You can get 1.5 to 1. So up here at -110, you're only getting, it's only -6. So for 4 more points, you can gain 65 cents per dollar. Right? That's pretty good, right? That's a lot. So think about those things, okay? So if the spread is already 7 or 7.5, a lot of times you might as well just come over to the alternate line and get better return. So like right here, the Broncos -9.5 is +140. But for adding a half point, you get 15 cents on every dollar, right? Pretty good play there. I like it a lot. I actually have that play already. But all right, so I'm gonna jump over to my bets really quick just to give you an idea of how many bets I have in. All right, so I'm gonna go to open. All right, so you guys see. It's a lot, right? There's a whole bunch. And then that's the end of it. All right, let's go back to home. So that's a whole bunch of bets, right? And that's all just for tomorrow. Some of those are futures, like the bottom 3 are futures, but the rest of them are just for tomorrow. So that's a lot, guys. That's a whole bunch. All right, so I saw something down here, promotion on the Kansas City and Baltimore game. Let's click it and see what promotion that is. All right, so up here, first TD score insurance. So I can choose a TD score. I'm going to opt into it. All right. Go down here. All right, Kansas City Chiefs, TD scores. We opted in, so we get it. What they're saying is you pick one, and as long as he scores in the game, you'll get your money back. If he scores first, you'll win. All right, so who do we like? Who do we like to score first? It's either Hill or Kelsey at +600, 650. If I'm going to go and I'm going to just choose a long shot, I'm going to go with Mecole Hardman. All right, if I'm just going to choose a long shot, I'm going to go with Mecole Hardman at plus 1,300. But the problem with taking Mecole Hardman is if he doesn't score in the game, I just lose that money. So that's why Hill and Kelsey are a much safer bet, right? Because odds are they're going to score in the game, all right? So I'm going to go Kelsey on this one. Let's go 20. So you guys actually just got to witness me place a bet. There it is, plus 650, all right? So if he catches the first score of the game, I don't remember what it said I won. It'll be 6.5 on 20, so that's like 120, 130 or something like that. So as long as he's first to score, that's a winner. Now, the promotion that they offered allows me to be, okay, if he's not first to score, but he does score in the game, I get my money back. So it's a nice little promotion, right? So keep an eye on your promotions. A lot of places give good ones, give free bets a lot of times. So one of the things I like to do, guys, if they give me free bets, I like to make home run plays with them. All right, so I like to do like a 6-game parlay. All right, if they give me a free bet, because I feel like they give you enough of them throughout the year that you can play those plays, and if one hits, it was worth it, right? So, guys, I do have 2 home run tickets. I always have home run tickets every week. I usually try to keep them at around 1% of the bankroll. Let me show you them really quick. Okay, so here's one. I'm going to show you these home run tickets, all right? And here's the other. All right, so here we go. Home run ticket number 1. 1086 pays $9.45. It's a 7-pick, all right? So it's a 7-pick with ATS, right? So I got the Rams minus 3.5, Broncos minus 6, Saints minus 3.5, Bills minus 3, Patriots, Cowboys, Chiefs, all right? This next one is a mixture, right? So for $20, I win $18.16 if this comes in. Right, I got the Broncos line, I got the Rams line, I got the Browns line, Saints line, 49ers, Bills, Steelers, New England, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Chiefs, and Packers. All right, guys? So these are just home run plays, all right? So every week, I like to do these. I like to at least have one crazy play, all right? At least one. Most time two, to where I look at it like this. If I put $10 on it every week and one of them hits, one single one out of the 17 weeks, well, I have only spent $170, but if I made $900, it was worth it. So I play them all year long. Just one little home run play, 2 little home run plays. I don't go crazy with it. Just a couple little things, right? It's just profit. I don't ever use it when it's not profit. So these are things I do. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an insider look into this. So I hope everyone watches this, especially the people that have, paid for my product. But definitely keep up with your promotions. Promotions can be really nice, right? Some of them can be really nice. So, again, you got an idea of where I'm at. You guys got a glimpse into my bets for the week. Guys, full disclosure, 5 minutes before the game, I will have more bets. All right? It's how it goes. It's how it works. Things change. I may be laying things off, but if I am laying things off, I will relate that to you. A lot of times I'm just putting more money on stuff because something has changed that I like, right? So, again, I just wanted to kind of show you guys some of this stuff, and thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing and paying and watching my shows, and obviously buying my packages. You guys are great. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great night. This is Jacob from Wedge Me This. Tomorrow should be a pretty good day. Remember, it's week 2. Be careful. Do not get starry eyes. All right, I call it starry eyes. All right, don't get crazy because you saw the Eagles blow someone out, or because you saw the Titans not play very well. Don't take week 1 like it's going to decide the Super Bowl. Anyways, guys, y'all have a great night. Jacob from Winter Me This.